two reasons. Number one, I want to help you become a better leader. And number two, I want to help you help others. So right now I'm discussing the 5 essential elements of a successful leadership training program. And right now I'm talking about the second element, which is communication. Communication is very, very important. It's something that everyone does naturally all day long. And I think that a lot of times it gets lost, and that people don't communicate deliberately. And when this happens, there can be breakdowns in communications, misunderstandings. So it's very, very important to make sure in your program that you incorporate communication and the importance, most specifically, the importance of listening. Communication really, it's 75% understanding the information that's coming in. Because by understanding the information that's coming in, you can then respond and communicate, and whether you respond verbally, through email, or in action, if you do not fully understand what's being said to you or presented to you, you will respond probably incorrectly. So, a lot of the exercises you do and a lot of the emphasis should be on listening. Another thing with communication is that everyone has trigger words, certain words or phrases that shut down communication. And a lot of people enter into conversations, say with filters up, or walls, or earplugs, or whatever, and they're kind of waiting for that type of word so that they can shut down communication. So the first thing is that in order to be a leader, you need to be able to listen, and you need to be able to sift through what someone's saying, even if they're saying it poorly, clumsily, or maybe they're using incorrect language. As a leader, you need to be the bigger person and help get through to the core message of what the person's saying, and if they use bad language, correct them. Now, I've talked about trigger words, bad language. What am I saying? Okay. Racial slurs are definitely trigger words that are horrible and have no place in any type of communication. So in your office, in your organization, with your group of friends even, you shouldn't use racial slurs. But there's other words that are trigger words or have the effects of trigger words that you might not even realize. Sometimes using certain slang words, calling people nicknames, calling someone who's young kid, someone who's old grandpa. That's kind of funny, but at the same time it can be offensive, and you could shut down communication with someone, and why would you ever want to do that? I talk about being a wheel, right? Talk about being the center and reaching out to people, and having lots of points of access and making sure that you're being a steward and helping the people you're working with. Well, if you shut down communication, you're not going to be able to help the greater world, and more importantly, it's just not cool to do because it means that you've offended someone. So it's important to make sure that you avoid trigger words. And it's kind of hard to determine the trigger words, but in the setting of a leadership program, you can actually come out and say them. And so I highly recommend doing that. And there might be some instances within the organization where maybe poor language was used or poor choice of words. Use that. Use that real-life example. The last thing, sarcasm. As a leader, sarcasm definitely is a fun way of talking. I'm incredibly sarcastic, but as a leader, I'm very careful to reduce my sarcasm because people can take it the wrong way, and when you're in a position of authority, you can end up really hurting someone's feelings unnecessarily. So, in your program, I highly recommend having a section or portion discussing sarcasm and how its negative effects. So that's what the communication section should talk about. There's obviously more specifics you can get into: email, leaving voice messages, text messaging, these different ways of communicating, utilizing Web 2.0, social media, etc., etc. But the bottom line is, the core of it is listening and avoiding using language that will